Hello, Asia. How are you? Can you believe that? I forgot to get my microphone ready. Here I am, getting ready to stream. I got all my screens up. I've got all my accounts, my promos out, and I forgot to get my microphone. Sorry about that. Hope that all of you are doing well. Welcome to the Asia edition of my live stream. This is my second time live streaming today. I did my morning live stream, which I usually do, and that captures most of the world. But I know that I have followers in Asia that aren't always able to attend. So I have gone ahead and done a second stream today for Asia. It is my Wednesday night, your Thursday morning. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to take as many questions as you have them. And we're going to run the stream just like I usually do. So I usually start off by asking people to do a global roll call. I ask people to give me their city, state, province, country. Just kind of let me know, where you're from in the world. I assume most of you are going to be from Asia, although we do I do anticipate getting some US folks because it is still evening hours in most parts of the US. But just let us know where you're from. We like to build a global community, and personally, I like traveling a lot, so it's nice for me to see where everybody's from. I just find that interesting. So if you're joining us, I see Instagram, I see YouTube. Please let us know, where you're from, and you never know. You might meet somebody from your city, from your school, from your country. You just never know what can happen from that. So while I give people a chance to join in, I always like to start off with an opening note. And today I'd like to talk to you about data quality. And sometimes data quality can be a touchy issue. Data quality can be tough because sometimes the problem can be overstated. I've given the example before where I was working with a client who had a massive warehouses all across the country. And they have these environmental sensors within the warehouse, it tells you the temperature, the humidity, things along those lines. And they were obsessed with data quality for some modeling that they wanted to do. But what they didn't take into account was that they had a lot of sensors, each one of them taking measurements 10 times a minute, every 6 seconds. So they had a lot of sensor data from sensors that were only spaced about a foot away from each other. So what is that? It's about 30 centimeters apart from each other. So where you might have had gaps in one sensor, they could be made up with other sensors. And then you had sensors that were basically constantly taking measurements that even one gap or two gaps was still only about 12 seconds, 18 seconds in real time. So you're starting to get to these, so it was kind of a different balance where you start to have these conversations between, we have to have good data quality and the sensors have to work, but how quality does it have to be for appropriate modeling, right? When you have, that type of redundancy built in. So sometimes I think it's healthy for you to come into a project, take a step back and say, well, wait a minute, what is it that we're really trying to solve here? What is it that we really need to define data quality? Data quality is not just defined by the gaps in your data, which is what most people think, right? Give me all of the NA values and that speaks to the quality of my data. Well, that's not always the case. It's very beneficial for you to take a step back and say, okay, well, let's separate what we think the data is versus what we actually need for modeling and how we get that data for modeling. Those are kind of two separate efforts. It's a nuanced difference, but it can be a significant difference depending on the type of project that you're working on. So I want you to keep that in mind going forward, to kind of take a holistic view to your projects. Just because your stakeholder or whatever else makes you think that it's, low quality data, verify it for yourself, determine what you actually need for modeling, and then go out and get the data and then make your determinations on the quality of the data. I think usually that tends to help a little bit more. So I see some people joining in, already introducing themselves. Thank you so much. What was I going to say? Yeah, if you're coming in late, please go ahead and let us know where you're from. Or if you want to make a comment on my opening note, let me know in the comments below. I welcome you to participate there and just, let me know what you think. Maybe you have a different view on data quality or you want to share another project that, you've had data quality issues on. It's really up to you. So let me go ahead and start here. Anika Lala 15 Anika, let us know where you're from. I'm not quite taking questions yet. I will be taking questions, but I always like to start off with everybody introducing themselves via the global roll call. So Anika, happy to tackle your question afterwards, but let us know where you're from, and let me get to the other introductions. Joseph is our moderator on YouTube and on Discord. Joseph, thanks so much for being here. This is the second stream that Joseph has sat in on today. He helped out in the early one, so thank you so much, Joseph. Really appreciate you. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I think we are having a good day, Joseph. Hope the same for you. Light Photos says James from Orlando, Florida. Nice. How are you, James? James, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome if it's your first time. Hope you're well in Orlando. I hear it's very humid in Orlando during the summer. Maybe you can tell us about that. Sal Divya says, hello, Dennis. I'm Divya from Dallas, Texas. Welcome, Sal. Hope you're doing well. What part of Dallas? I used to live in Dallas. I lived in Dallas for 2 years. Let us know what part of Dallas. I'm assuming you work for tech out there. You know, most people don't realize how many tech companies there are in Dallas, particularly in some of the city portions of Dallas. A lot of tech companies. Let us know where you're from, Divya. Maybe you work for one of the tech companies out there. Hello, Dennis. El Esplendido says, hello, Dennis. Ricardo here in Atlanta was cooking dinner and came in to see you live. Splendid. Well, great. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Glad you're here. I could have sworn I saw you in this morning session. Anybody is welcome to join any of the sessions. I'm doing this special one for Asia because I know I have followers in Asia, but I don't always stream at a convenient time. The irony is that I'm not seeing many Asia people in the chat right now. It's mostly US, it's kind of like an evening US time. For me, it's 6 p.m. in the Pacific time zone, but for most people, it's like 9 p.m. at the latest, so not too terrible. But glad to see you here, Ricardo. Thanks for joining. Leo is also another person that was in our chat this morning. Leo, you just can't get enough of the stream, can you? Hey, Dennis, long time no see. Well, good to see you, Leo. Thanks so much for being here. Both Leo and Joseph are active members on our Discord. Let me bring that up. So here is our Discord. We're having a lot of really great conversations. We actually crossed the 100-member mark today. So we're having some great discussions where people post questions, articles. I post some of the streams that are coming up. You guys should have the address pinned in the chat. If you're on Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube, you should find it pinned. But feel free to join us in this Discord. Lots of really great conversations. And I'm really enjoying that it's the community helping the community. I come in and give my opinion every once in a while, of course. But, I love that everybody's kind of learning from each other. Leo today was proposing that we all do some sort of a Kaggle competition together, like a team. One of the team Kaggle competitions, which I think is a great idea. So the link is there for you to follow if you'd like. But please feel free to join us. I think we're building a really special community there. So let me keep on going down the list here. Light Photo says it's definitely humid around this time in Orlando. Yeah, I always keep on hearing that. I hear that this is the time to avoid all the Disney theme parks because it's hot and there's a lot of lines. Leo says I have 2% Asian in my DNA. Okay, cool. Did you learn that via what is that, 23andMe or what's the other one that does the testing? I'm afraid to send my blood to those places. They're gonna save it so that they can replicate you in the future, right? You probably sign away your rights in one of those submissions. I don't like using those services. I'm a little afraid of that. I'm curious about what my makeup is, but I don't know. I don't trust them. Toasted Bread 7533. Hi, Dennis, coming from Canada, just driving home. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome. I'm glad to see you here. What part of Canada? I worked in Canada for a good 6-7 months, something like that. Maybe a little longer. Yeah, glad to see you here. Maybe this time is more convenient for the Americas than I thought, right? Because in Canada, it's also a very reasonable hour in most parts of Canada. So maybe I'll call this my Asia/North America stream. I don't know. Leo says, listening to you while working on some data. Well, that's great, Leo. That's great. I know that you keep your own portfolio of projects, and that's a good thing. So yeah, welcome. Love seeing you here. Leo says, yes, we are building a good community. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So if you guys want to join, please feel free to join the Discord. The link is pinned in the chat. So you can go ahead and click on that and it'll take you right there. I apologize if the messages are popping up twice. I'm not 100% sure why that is. Sometimes the program that I use to create this chat kind of pops them once, pops them twice, shows the moderators, doesn't show the moderators. So sorry about that, but we'll do the best we can here. Leonardo says, not your blood, just your saliva with 23andMe. Yeah, but they're still saving your DNA, right? I mean, I said blood, but what I really meant is your DNA, right? And as long as they have that map, I think that's enough to recreate you, isn't it? I think it is, right? If they have like that whole DNA map or whatever it is to you, they're storing that in their record somewhere, right? That's their long-term asset that they're storing, that they're going to activate in the year 2792 or whenever that's perfected, right? Joseph says, I'm scared they will take my biodata. Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. I get it. I'm the same way. The last time I was working for I think I was actually in Dallas. When I was in Dallas in the office there, that kind of got popular. You know how like these things get popular in a group of friends? Like one person gets the 23andMe and another person signs up and then they compare it. A bunch of them got to talking about it at a happy hour we had, because we had a lot of happy hours in the Dallas office, let me tell you. But yeah, there were like 10 people around me that got it, and I was like, I'm not doing that. It's too scary. My DNA is bad enough already. I don't need other people having it. So yeah, I don't know, Leo. You're more brave than I am. I don't want people having my biodata. So I'm with Joseph. I want to keep my biodata to myself. Light Photo says, only thing that really burns me is the fact that it's the end of mango season. Oh, there's never an end to mango season. There's never a season to anything, right? I mean, that's one of the things about global trade, right? There's a reason why you can walk into your supermarket and get bananas year round, right? We buy that stuff from overseas, so I'm sure they'll have mangoes. There's always a fruits year round, right? I mean, there's a reason why oranges are in your grocery every day of the year, and it's not because they grow them all in Florida, right? So yay global trade. I'm sure you can find mangoes. You know what? I actually just bought some mango. Like those street vendors that like sit on the corner. I have no problems buying from them. I miss that about New York. In New York, they were all over the place. Here in Las Vegas, not so much. I bought like a mango container. Like I think it was one of those like restaurant containers, like that kind of give you soup in. It may be like, I don't know, 10 ounces, something like that. That thing was $10. $10 for a jar of mango. When the guy told me, I thought he was joking with me. I never buying that from that guy again. I gotta buy my own and cut it up. All right, Toasted Bread is sharing that he's from Calgary. Cool. I've never been there, but I heard Calgary is beautiful. The rodeo days, right? I've always wanted to go to the Calgary rodeo days. I'm gonna do that sometime. I was based out of Manitoba. I was based in Winnipeg for a while there. Beautiful country, nice people. Canadians are good people. Leo says, LOL, that's for sure, Joseph. Well, how can you say that if you already gave them your data? It's too late for you, Leo. They're already working on cloning you. You're already in some database somewhere, right? So it's too late, Leo. I hope they do recreate me. That would be fun. I don't know if it'd be fun. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Would you remember that you lived before? You probably wouldn't, right? Because if they're recreating you from your DNA doesn't have your same brain memories, right? It'll have your attributes, but not your memory, right? So I don't think you'd remember if they recreated you. All right, let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? So 23andMe steals your biodata. It's the year 2792. They perfected it so that they can recreate you from your biodata. But I'm going to say that they can't recreate your memories. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I think you'd be like a new person, right? Like I don't think you can bring your memories with you in your saliva, right? Your saliva carries your DNA, which is like your biodata, but not your memories, right? So let me know what you guys think. No, I disagree, Leo. I think you'd be a whole other person. Like you wouldn't be a data scientist again, right? You'd be something else. So yeah, I don't think so, Leo. Chat, what do you guys think? Do you keep your memories when they recreate you in 29 or 2792? El Esplendido is laughing at the mangoes. El Esplendido, I think you're agreeing with me, right? I mean, mangoes are available all the time, especially in Florida. You guys get so much global trade down there, right? I mean, my understanding is that in the U.S., 80% of our oranges come from Brazil or something like that, right? Like our oranges are not from Florida or California. Abe, good to see you. I didn't see you this morning, so good to see you on this chat. Good morning, Dennis. Hope you're doing good from Hyderabad. Yeah, I remember you're from Hyderabad. Is this time more convenient for you, Abe? Give me some feedback on this on the Asia time slot, guys. Because I'm guessing at what's a good time for Asia. My understanding is that right now it's 9 a.m. in most parts of Asia. I think Australia is also 9 a.m. Singapore is like 9 a.m. So I'm using that as my general marker, and I know they'll be earlier for some people, later for some people. I think it's later in Tokyo. So let me know, guys. Give me some feedback. But Abe, let me know if this is a better time for you, because I know you usually attend my earlier stream. But, let me know. I need the feedback, so that way I can maybe plan more Asia in the future. I don't know. Ahmed Aklagi says, let's go. Well, assuming you're from Canada also, which is great. So it looks like we have a few Canadians in the chat. Wonderful. Ahmed, let us know what part of Canada you're from. Joseph says, I wonder if they are truly able to do this, if that would be considered your twin, or would your thoughts somehow be linked? I have questions too, Joseph, but I'm going to go ahead and say that your thoughts would not be linked. So I'm not claiming to be an expert on this, but my understanding is that they take your biodata, like this is what I read about, Dolly the sheep, that they take your biodata and then they take a fetus, and then at some early stage or something like that, they can replace the fetus DNA with your DNA. And then that fetus would grow normally from there, except it would be just like you, right? Like Dolly the sheep, right? So your DNA is carried over, but not your memories, right? Like that person would still have their own memories. And then presumably their own desires to do different things, right? Just like twins don't end up in the same job. They can have different desires, right? So I'm going to say that they become a whole different person, and they wouldn't be like a twin of yours, or like connected to you, right? I'm going to say that's the case. Leo says, not a memory, but the same inclination towards a subject or field. Yeah, but like there's still that butterfly effect though, right? Like you ended up in your field now through a series of events, right? What if that series of events doesn't happen for future you? Like they didn't go to the right class, they didn't have the right, high school teacher, they didn't get into the right college, they chose a different major, because they failed a class and they had to drop out of that major and change. Like there's still a million things that could happen, right? So I think they might have the same general feelings, Leo, but I don't think that means that they're going to end up in the same field. It could still be vastly different, right? Because they've done studies on twins that are separated at birth, right? And how their lives turn out. I'm going to say it's completely different, Leo. Like there's still like a whole series of events that made you today, right? Like there's a series of events that led to you being a data scientist and sitting in a chat at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night, right? So I'm going to say that's going to be different, Leo. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Lucifer says, I have to ask GPT about that. Yeah, but you got to have your own thoughts too, though, right? Like I love ChatGPT for a variety of things, but you got to be your own person at some point too, though, right? So I'm loving the creative use of ChatGPT and like that ChatGPT first mentality, because I try to teach that to my clients. But this is kind of like an ethical or like personal issue, right? You got to have your own opinion on it. So let me know your opinion on it a bit, Lucifer. Let me know. Lucifer says it's 7 a.m. in Asia. It's early but worth it. Oh wow, that's kind of a cool compliment. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you saying that. I try to provide value. So yeah, if 7 a.m. works for everybody, then then you're up. But Lucifer, did you tell us what country you're from? I realize that it might be earlier in like India, because you guys would be west of Singapore. But if you're like in Tokyo, which is like east of Singapore or the Philippines, This is probably like a nice morning time, right? Like 9 a.m. I think in Tokyo right now. But yeah, so I realize it's not perfect for Asia, but let me know, guys. Let me know. Hamid is from Ottawa. Nice, very cool. Or Hamed, excuse me. I saw one of those like YouTube videos, where like they interview people on the street, and like, if you can answer this question right, you get $50 type of thing. And that was the question. The question is, what is the capital of Canada? And they had to go through like 100 people, 100 Americans, I think it was, to name the capital of Canada. Most of them, the majority didn't have a guess, and then the other guess, mostly Toronto, right? Because people think Toronto is the capital of Canada. But it's good to see you from Ottawa, and thanks for being here, Hamed. All right, so Leo is adding to our question of the day. So guys, the question of the day, give us your thought in the chat. When 23andMe replicates you in the future, are you going to have the same memories? Are you going to be the same person? Are you also going to end up as a data enthusiast? I don't know. Leo says, not your twin, Joseph. It would be you. The genetic code is the same. You could be different due to different exposure to things. Yeah, Leo, I'm on board with that. That's the likely scenario. It's you with your same genetic makeup, right? Human makeup. But who you end up as a person would be circumstances, of whatever that time period is, right? So here's another question, guys. Does 23andMe follow you and create like a wiki on you and then show it to your future clone? Or is your history hidden from your future clone? Think about that. Think about it. What if right now, 23andMe came to you and said, by the way, you're a clone from 1279, and here's your clone's history. Would you want to read it? Maybe not, right? I don't know if I'd want to read it. Let me know in the chat. Abe says, I'm an early person. I'm fine. Okay, cool. Good to know, Abe. I'm an early person too. I am not a night person. Right now I'm struggling to put this together because I am not an evening person. I'm a morning person. I like the 5 a.m. meetings, the 6 a.m. meetings, 7 a.m. That's me. Later in the day, I'm shaky at best. So I hear you, Abe. Leo says, I bet Elon Musk has already done that, cloned himself to keep working on his stuff. I don't know. I'm not an Elon fanboy, so don't get me started on that. I'm not a huge fan of his. So has he already? Maybe he's already started working on it. I bet he's bought one of those like cryogenic plans or whatever, But yeah, I don't know if he's already working on it. All right. So Lucifer says, then what about mutation in DNAs? Yeah, you're right. DNA degrades over time, right? So depending on when they collected it from you, could probably be it'll affect the quality of your future clone. Yeah, I could see that. You're right, Lucifer. And by the way, guys, I'm just going with the chat here, just talking about interesting things. But if you do have a data science question, go ahead and put it in the chat. Or if you want to introduce yourself, maybe you're a little shy, you just want to say hello, just let us know the city, state, province you're from. Or also click on the link that's pinned. That takes you straight to our Discord. Join the community there. It's a great way to keep in touch with people after the live streams. We're building a really good community there. And we passed 100 users today, so we're growing. We're a growing community. We're at what? We're at 109 users today. So that means we had like 14 new people today. So that's pretty cool. Lucifer says it's 7 a.m. in Asia, early but worth it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Lucifer. Joseph says, seems like nature versus nurture, so the environmental factors will sculpt each of the clones differently. Yeah, absolutely. See, but I'm also thinking just like life is also going to happen, right? Like there's life events, like little things that are not nature versus nurture, just little events that happened in your life that led to you who you are today, right? Like that whole thing about it's a game of inches, right? The wrong step right or the wrong step left, it's a whole new life, right? Because I could think of different things in my life that have influenced me in the way I think or the things I do, right? So that's not nature versus nurture. That, like I said, it's more like the butterfly effect. Just like a whole series of events led to you being here today, right? El Escondido says, yeah, I can't be 100% when I use ChatGPT. I feel as though I'll be on the losing end cognitively. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I guess I see that in like the questions I ask of ChatGPT. Because, like, for example, like today I was looking up some ChatGPT information because one of my interests is also trading options. And one of my goals this year is to find options that are not correlated, right? Because the way I do my trading, I want to find completely uncorrelated options. So I asked ChatGPT to suggest some things, because there's some things that I like to trade, like my core items, and then I say, okay, well, what else is uncorrelated to that? And then it gives me some suggestions. Okay, I like that suggestion, so let me add that. What else can I trade that's not related to the first two, right? And so on and so on. And I got like 5 new ideas, like 6 or 7 new ideas that I wrote down, right? So for something like that, like, yes, you could find that information, but it's kind of hard to string that together on your own, right? You know, and to get all the formulas and your total beta and things like that, right? So some things like that I will give to ChatGPT just to kind of like make it easier, you know? But, you know, maybe I'm being overly optimistic there. I don't know. But let me know, Splendida, like, what's the line for you that you don't use ChatGPT for? Because certainly there's some things you do use it for, right? But I hear you. You don't want to just make ChatGPT like your external hard drive, right? That's not healthy. So Leo says, not that much. It's not a second version of yourself, but you a bit different, but still you with the same inclination towards a subject. Yeah, Leo, but just because you're inclined towards a subject doesn't mean you're going to get there, right? Like, there's still a million things that influenced you to get to where you are, right? Like, you know, like you know, I'm sure there's a million other examples, but you know, maybe in college, right? In college, you took one course because the other one was full, and now this course you found super fascinating, and now you go down that road, right? So that's future you, right? Future you ended up in a whole different field of study because one course was filled and the other one wasn't, and they ended up going down that road. You didn't do that, but it's one of those things in life where you don't know what you don't know, right? You got into the first course and went down that road, never explored the second course just because you didn't have to, right? So I'm talking about events like that, like little things in life that happen, right? You meet the right person or you don't meet the right person. You went to that lecture or you didn't go to that lecture. You read that book or you didn't read. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of other little things that have happened to lead to you to be here today, right? So you'd have to assume that your clone would have those exact same like little deviations in life, right? And I think the probability of that's pretty low, yeah? Yeah, I think I'm comfortable saying that. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Hamed says you could save your memory on something like Elon's brain chip where you describe your core memories and try to describe the images and AI would animate your memories. OpenAI Sora 2095. Oh, no, I'm taking the over on 2095. There's no way that'll be done by 2095. I'm thinking like 20, what did I say? 2792 or something like that? It's going to be like years and years and years away, centuries away. I don't know, 2095, you're being extremely optimistic, my friend. I think it's much further away than that. Please chat, join Discord. We're doing great things over there. Let's connect. Yeah, Leo, thanks for the cheerleading there. We are doing great things over there. So if you'd like to join, keep on talking with people like Leo and Joseph's in there and a couple other people from the chat. Ellis Splendido's in there. Please feel free to join. The link should be pinned in whatever platform you're watching. Leo says, I would like to read my clone history. I would laugh. Okay, so Leo is okay reading his clone's history. Yeah, I think I'd take a pass on that. It'd be super curious, right? Super tempting. Super tempting. It'd be hard to say no. But I'd kind of want to be my own person, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Would you read your clone's history? Right? So right now, 23andMe comes to you. Or Elon apparently comes. Apparently Elon is popular in the chat. So Elon comes to you and says, yeah, by the way, Hamed, Leo, Joseph, you're kind of a clone from the 1200s. And I have this book here that your clone wrote about their entire history. You can have it or you can't have it. It's up to you. What do you guys think? Are you reading that history? I'm not. I'm putting that away. Leo says Elon fanboy was fun. I don't know. I'm not an Elon fanboy. Don't put me in that crowd. You know, that's a whole other crowd, and it can be a weird crowd. But yeah. Leonardo says, well, my whole life was somehow connected to observe, collect, and write about. I started as a biologist, analyzing animal behavior from ants to big cats. It's all connected. Yeah, but just play with me here, Leo. That's connected because when you were a small child, your parents put you in front of the baby Einstein animal video and not the baby Einstein English video, or, you know, reading and writing video, right? So that one little event influenced you, right? And there's like a million events that led to that. So what if future Leo doesn't have that, right? Their parent just happens to put in the different video than the one you saw, and now their whole life is different, right? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of events that lead to where you are at any given moment, right? Okay, so Lucifer shares, by the way, I'm a lawyer transitioning into data science, just getting started with it. Okay, Lucifer. Well, I have a video for that, right? If you go to my YouTube, on my YouTube, Data Science with Dennis, I just released a video 2 weeks ago, how I made the career transition into data science, because I also made a mid-career transition like that after 10 years in software development. So feel free to look at that video. I go over everything I did. You know, the process that I follow, the attitude that you can have to carry into it. But I think that, you know, if you want to learn and you're just kind of getting started, you're in the right place. Make sure you join the Discord, because, you know, I think there's some good people in there. Lots of people that are, you know, kind of just getting started. So I think you'll be among good company there. So Mac008491 says, how can I become a data scientist and remain in the niche of genetics and cancer genomics? Bioinformatics, right? There is a field of study known as bioinformatics that covers basically anything related to the medical sciences, right? Or the biological sciences. But yeah, you can definitely become a data scientist, you know, still learn the training, the modeling, the coding, the methodology, all of that. But your domain focus, your chosen domain, will be in the bioinformatics field. And then you have, you know, further definition of genetics and cancer genomics, right? Or genomics. So yeah, that's totally possible to do that. But make sure you get a good foundation in like generic data science, for the lack of a better word, you know? But you'll be able to do that. Okay? I think it's very possible. Light Photo said, ooh, Light Photos coming in strong with the questions. Would you be jealous if your clone did better than you in areas that you wish that you flourished? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, but you're talking backwards looking though, right? Because we can't do it now. So you're saying that if I'm the clone in 2792 and I'm a total schmuck, and then I read about how my previous clone was like an Olympic athlete, would I feel bad? Yeah, I think I would. Because genetically I have the same talents that that person had, right? And I turned into a schmuck, right? So yeah, that's a good question, Light Photos. I like that one. That's a good question. What do you guys think, chat? What if you were like a total moron in the future, and future Elon, 2792 Elon, hands you a book that says, here's your clone's history, and by the way, they won 4 Olympic gold medals, and you're like this total loser in the future. What do you guys think? I think that would make me feel bad. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Lucifer says, we've read tons of books in our lives, so one more won't hurt. Yeah, but it's like the most personal book you'll ever read, though, right? Like, this isn't just some average book. This is like telling you about what was possible with your genetics, right? That's kind of like that's where the mind twist comes in, right? So as who asked that question? Light Photos asked, what happens if you are doing worse than the clone? You'll know that you didn't use your genetics to its max potential, right? So I get it, Light Photos. I would feel like a total moron if I read that my clone was an Olympic athlete with 3 gold medals, and I'm sweeping like some restaurant on Mars or something, right? And I'm like the janitor at the McDonald's on Mars. I'd feel like an idiot, right? Max says, I had that answer, just wanted your feedback. You seriously have amazing operational content. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, my focus is on real world data science, right? Most of the content out there is, fake, right? Because they don't have the real world experience. So that's what I try to bring. That's, I'm talking from my own experience, what my life's reality has been. And I think that resonates with people, right? I think that's why most people are here, because they want to hear the real truth. So yeah, so thank you for that compliment. It's definitely what I'm trying to do. Just give you guys good content, good real world views. Mubari says, what tools should we need to understand regarding AI and data science? Let us know where you're from, Mubari. We usually let people introduce themselves. It's not about the tools if you're starting off. It's about the knowledge. It's about the methodology, okay? Be very careful about saying, I want to be a data scientist. Let me go learn Python. Let me go learn, this model, right? Be very careful about that. Data science is about how you go about using those tools, when you go about using those tools, okay? So take the time to learn about the methodology of data science first. Super important to know that. Because if you don't know that, then you'll never know how to apply the scientific method, right? And that's a critical part of data science. Because remember, it is a science, right? You can't forget that. Data science is not coding, it's a science, right? So keep that in mind, okay? Max says, thank you so much. You're welcome. I'm just trying to do my best here. Trying to do my best in sharing my experience. Leo says, okay, Light Photos, that hurt a little bit. But Leo, you're saying that with the assumption that your future clone is going to be a schmuck though, right? Because it only hurts if they're doing worse than you. If your clone is doing better than you, then it might actually make them feel really good, right? So yeah, so are you saying that you're going to be better than your clone now? I don't know if I'd say that, right? Because what you're really saying there is you're saying that you maximize the potential of your genetics. It couldn't have gone any better as far as how you applied your genetics. You always did your best in school. You always did your best in sports. Like, you just did the maximum of what you were given. So, okay. So Leo says, no, he's looking at me. Imagine, oh boy, we could have done so much. Okay, so you're assuming your future clone is a schmuck. Okay, I get it. I like the confidence. You're displaying some confidence in there. I get it. Mac is bringing us back to data science. Says, right now, I feel like just learning DS vocabulary and terminology and being able to just place things on the overall map of data science. Yeah, okay. That's a great start. I like that. Vocabulary and terminology is a good place. Don't force that though, right? That'll come with time. That'll come as you do your own work, your own studies, your own research, right? To your vocabulary, try adding the methodology, right? Like, okay, I know that a data project needs data. How do I go about collecting that? What does that data look like? How do I know when I have enough data, right? Okay, I have that. Now what? Well, now I gotta explore the data, right? I gotta have my EDA phase. Okay, cool. Let me do some EDA. Okay, I got these EDA results. Now what do I do with them? Well, I mean, you could talk to your stakeholder. You could do visualizations. You could do ideation, right? You could do more EDA, right? EDA tends to lead to more EDA, right? So understand those steps, right? Understand why you would want, like, what is your goal of doing EDA? What is your goal of talking to stakeholders? What should you and what should you not get from stakeholders, right? So understand that process, because I think that'll help you lead into everything else. That'll help lead into the coding and into the models and things like that, okay? If you're interested, on Sundays, I am running a course completely free. You know, there's no charge. Sundays at 1500 GMT. I realize that might be a little bit on the later side. But we're going through a book known as The Introduction to Statistical Learning, which is a very, you know, it's a very serious book. But it also turn you into professional data scientists, or give you the foundation to become a professional data scientist. So you're welcome to join us for that if you'd like to. Okay, so Light Photos says, I'm a senior financial analyst that's just trying to break into data. I got my master's in business analytics, but it's tough out there since companies have their pick of the litter. Maybe. Don't be overwhelmed by some of the stories you hear on social media about how the applications were tough, or the interviews were tough, or things like that. If you put in the work, I promise you that will come through in the interviews. Don't be fooled by people who say, oh, I did 50 applications and the interviews were hard. Well, there's no telling on how they studied, right? There's no telling how smart they are or they are not, right? So don't let that fool you. Don't let that discourage you, right? If you feel like you're well prepared and you've done the work, you've put in the time to build yourself up into a proper data scientist, then keep going, right? Don't let all of those other people, you know, kind of throw you off because they were unprepared, right? Just because they did bad, right? Go in and experience it for yourself, right? So, you know, I hear you, you know, HR process isn't always perfect, but the talent level is not as high as you think it is. So if you can demonstrate that you've done more than average, you're better than the average, it'll come through. I promise you that. Okay. So Lucifer asks, Mac asks, when you say scientific method, you mean as in making observations, asking questions, developing hypotheses, and then going after that? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So obviously that's the simplified version, right? Data science has its own ways to execute those steps, right? Like how do you actually run the experiments? Well, you have to write some code for that, right? But yeah, that's exactly what I mean by that. So in last week's class, you're welcome to go to the archives and look at the archive videos there. But in last week's class, we talked about cross-validation. Cross-validation is a form of experimentation in data science, right? So yeah, if you understand the methodology, you understand the scientific method, then you would know when something like cross-validation comes into play, right? But what I'm suggesting to you is don't jump to those coding things and learning how to use these tools if you don't know that those are for experiments and when to run them, which ones are appropriate to run, how to track those experiments, right? All those things. Just keep that in mind, okay? El Esplendido says, so my goal is to land my first DS job this year. In the meantime, I have an opportunity to teach DS. I never taught anything before. Obviously a personal question, but would that be a starting point? Is that what starting point? Is that what the rocket means? Yeah, sure. If you feel comfortable, you know, doing that, right? If you feel like you have the skills for that and the curriculum for that, right? Because see, the hard thing about teaching is putting together the materials, right? The delivery is the easy part. Like when I do the classes on Sunday or even for these live streams, the hard part is just putting things together and making sure I'm ready to go, right? So that would be my main question to you, Ricardo, is if you feel like you have the right curriculum in place. You know, I don't know if you're doing it through an agency or on your own or whatever the case may be, but you have to make sure you have the right training materials in place. And obviously then you have to feel comfortable with them, right? But yeah, you know, but yeah, I think that's a fine starting point, sure. Light Photos wants to go back to the clone discussion. Name a movie that has a reference to a clone that is trying to take the life of the original. I'll start Total Recall. Okay. All right, guys. So Light Photos has put down a challenge. Name a movie that has reference to a clone that is trying to take the life of the original. So Light Photos, you're assuring us that there's more than one, right? Like you're saying that this is a recurring theme in a variety of movies, right? Don't make us think about this if there's no other ones, right? But yeah, I'm thinking of one in the back of my mind. I'll try to come up with one. The book, Light Photos is asking, can you reference that book? This is the book right here, guys. Introduction to Statistical Learning. This book is considered the Bible among professional data scientists. I guarantee you that if you talk to a professional, you know, bona fide data scientist working in the industry, they know this book. Everybody knows this book if you're a professional, right? This book has been on my bookshelf for 12 years, maybe longer, something like that. This is like, I think this is their first edition. That's how old this is. But yeah, this is the book we're doing a chapter every week. We are on chapter 7 this week. Yeah, chapter 7 this week. If you want to get caught up, you can go to my YouTube. All of the previous classes are there. You know, get caught up that way. It's probably about 10 hours at this point because we go long. We've gone at least 2 hours every single session. Last week we went almost 3 hours. But yeah, you can go ahead and view that. Let me make sure I haven't missed any. The double chat is making it difficult. Sorry about that, guys. I hate that it's doing that. So El Esplendido is offering up Star Wars War of the Clones. Well, I'll let Light Photos be the judge, but is that meeting the criteria though? Where the future clone is trying to take the life of the original? Is that what War of Clones was about? I don't know if it was or wasn't. Can't remember too much. I don't know, but you guys can chime in on that. I'm trying to think about, wasn't there a movie? Yes, that's the one I'm thinking about. Okay, so Light Photos, I got one for you. I got an answer for your trivia. And you guys are free to answer the trivia. Again, the question is, name a movie that has a reference to a clone that is trying to take the life of the original. How about the Halloween movies? With, you know, like the Michael Myers movies? Didn't they have one where it went down to the little girl, right? Like the little girl inherited like the same genes or whatever, right? And then she tried to kill the Jamie Lee Curtis character all over again, right? So I'm going to say the Halloween movies. I think the Halloween movies fits your criteria. Because I think it even might have done that twice. Like, didn't it go to the little boy in one of the movies and then it went to the little girl in one? I know it went to the little girl because I saw that one. But yeah, I think that would fit. That where they get cloned and they also have like the same killer genes or whatever, right? JP3 says Logan. That's deep, dude. That's a deep post. Let us know where you're from, JP3. And if you have any questions for us. But yeah, if you're joining us late on Instagram, I'm seeing people on Instagram that haven't chimed in. That's okay if you're shy. But you're welcome to introduce yourself. Just let us know a little bit about you, or your city, state, and country. Or if you want to participate in the trivia question right now, in reference to a clone, name a movie that has a reference to a clone that is trying to take the life of the original. So the example is Total Recall. I'm putting up the Halloween movies. and somebody else put Star Wars War of the Clones. Oh, okay, JP3, sorry. Portland or Logan is the movie. Okay. I don't know that movie. I don't know that movie. Maybe somebody else in the chat does. JP3TTY, great choice. Okay, so apparently Light Photos agrees with you. Apparently that's a thing. I do not know that movie. All right, guys, any other questions or any other submissions for the trivia? Last call for both of those. And a final reminder that if you want to join us on our data science chat, let me bring that up again. You want to join us in our Discord? The link is in the chat. It's already pinned to everybody's chat. We're having some great discussions there. We have 110 people now, so we're having some great growth. We have some great moderators on there. Joseph, who's in the chat right now, is also one of our moderators. So yeah, we're having some good discussion. You know, people are suggesting things, articles, ideas. Some of the classwork we did this Sunday has carried over into the Discord, which I think is fantastic. You know, people are kind of tossing around different ideas. So yeah, if you want to join, please go ahead and do that. Really, really good community that we're building there. So link is already in your chat. All right, so last call for questions, guys. Can't believe we're almost up at an hour. You guys have kept it lively. You know, maybe, you know, we went off a little bit on the clones and stuff, but I enjoy that type of discussion. And I think all of us, you know, have a little bit of that thought pattern in us. So thanks for you guys for, you know, kind of sticking in there with that different type of conversation. Oh, okay. Geez, that's a whole thing, huh? Logan was the final Wolverine movie minus Deadpool. Okay. I'm not a comic book guy, so I haven't really kept up with those movies, and I realize that's a lot of movies. Okay. But obviously, it seems like Light Photos is going to go ahead and accept that entry into the trivia. So Light Photos, I think you got at least 3 answers for your trivia. So I think we did all right as a collective chat for that question. Good question though. I like the question. Well, guys, we are coming up on an hour. I really appreciate the time we spent. Again, Sundays, 1500 GMT. If you want to come to the class, you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to join the Discord. Great community there. And then you're also welcome to buy my book, Your First Year in Data Science, where I focus on going from academic data science and going into the real world, into your first job, your first internship, making those career changes. I appreciate your support on Amazon. It's the only thing I sell. I don't sell classes or anything else. So really appreciate having you guys here today. I'll try to do more of these Asia streams, you know, look for those announcements. But I hope that you stay well. I hope that you take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you next time, guys.